Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I would like to share with you more of the information I've received from the 25th dimension during my last QHHT Hypnosis session. I'll be reading from a transcript of the session, and when I refer to Lorrayne, I'm speaking to my practitioner who's asking me questions I prepared in advance of the session, and when I refer to me, I'm speaking of myself under hypnosis, which means the answers are coming from the 25th. Before I move forward, I'd like to thank you as always for subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video. I do love the community we built here, and it's great to hear from you guys. It just makes me happy. No other reason than that, really, at the end of the day. All right, so I'm gonna start reading here. Lorrayne. What do cats who have no veil think of NPCs? My cats seem to behave normally around Paul, and Paul is my pet sitter, even though he's left. Do they know he's left? Are they used to the idea of NPCs since they have no veil? Do they find it normal that Paul's essence has left? And this stuff with the cats or the animals not having veil is so fascinating to me. I just wonder what their experience looks like here, because at least we pretend that this stuff makes sense to a certain extent. And they're like, they must be think that we are completely mad. And meanwhile, they're here and their bodies suffer like ours suffer. Not only we in our very low vibrational environment have treated animals just atrociously. So all this stuff always goes through my mind. So here's the 25th answer. So animals go with the flow. They have no veil. They go with the flow. They know what everything is. Just like we on the earth will know what everything is. There is no veil. It's like you know everything. And therefore, obviously, they very well know that Paul is gone. The pet sitter is gone, who spends time with them when Clea is traveling. They know when somebody has an essence or not. And why do they behave the same with these people? Because at a 3D level, they just see that these people pet them, treat them nice, give them food, whatever. It's all the same. Paul is just as sweet and lovely to the cats as he was before. So the cats behave the same towards him. Now, they don't have the same kinship, the same connection they had before, but they still love him. They still think, oh, this NPC is so good to us. We all pretend, right? They're all playing the game. I mean, they play the game too in that sense, because I mean, even Clea knows that he's not there, but she's like, yeah, but his body's here. He's still doing nice things. We're happy to see him. And they do pretty much the same thing. You know, again, cats don't really discriminate in that sense. They're just chill. Lorrayne. Okay, being a woman is particularly tough on this planet due to childbirth and menstruation. Do alien women menstruate, and is childbirth potentially difficult and painful on alien planets like it is here? Me. Yeah, so they do. Some do menstruate. We already said that not everybody. And again, because we want these NPC bodies to feel a certain way or to behave in certain ways, but it's not a disaster like the weighty thing that it is here. You know, the burden that it is here. Because it is a burden here, is it not? And even with childbirth on other planets, again, they say it's because they have higher energy, whatever the explanation they give themselves. Higher energy, higher vibration, they're healthier, they eat healthy foods, they have the technology and so on. Childbirth is nothing. It's not painful like it is here. We already said pain. Well, all humans on every planet feel pain because we want these bodies to feel again. This is what we think of as a human body. It feels things, and sometimes things are painful. On this planet, we're very much taking this up many, many notches and say, oh, I gotta feel pain in this, feel pain in that, feel pain in this other thing. We know even here, you don't have to feel pain giving birth. There are many people who have had orgasmic births or painless births. But here we do like the idea of pain. We do like it. It makes us feel like this is all very real when we feel pain, which is quite unfortunate. We've spoken about how unfortunate this is several times. We just made it really hard for ourselves, really unpleasant. Lorrayne. Yeah, I think we are a bit crazy myself, me. I think we're a bit masochistic, and they were both laughing. Lorrayne. Okay, moving on to questions from behind the scenes. If we knew the takedown was around the corner, why did we allow the pandemic to happen? Were we still supporting the dark? It seems like we robbed ourselves of opportunities to spend more time with our loved ones before they left, especially since we will not be able to visit many of them who have gone to 3D chambers. My daughter could have spent a few more months with my family in Italy, for example, and she keeps asking me to move to Italy to stay with them. Does she not know they're gone? Me. Yeah, so we'll answer the last part first. So she does not know. She knows, obviously, we all know, but she does not. She still wants to be very much in the game. That's why she's very lighthearted and so on. So she does very much believe they're here. She's not aware of the fact that their essence is gone the way that Clea is. But even Clea, when she speaks with them, she forgets. She wants to forget that they're not here. But then when, like now, she knows there's nothing there, they feel flat. It's almost like you're seeing a piece of paper floating. It's not three-dimensional, whereas her daughter is showing up like a fully three-dimensional child. It's just the way we're showing her how to see when somebody is an NPC. Sometimes she sees the NPCs as being black and white or grayed out. Like, I think there was a movie, it was called Pleasantville or something like that, where people were grayed out. At any rate, and so yes, her daughter is playing the game and she's saying, I want to go be with family. She very much likes the idea of family. She wants to be in a big house. She always says, Nana's house is so much nicer, which it is. And they were laughing because it's very true. And so on and so forth. She wants to be in the game. She's enjoying the game. It's funny because Clea feels bad because, of course, yeah, life with her family is much more pleasant. At the same time, she doesn't want to be in Italy, but she doesn't want to tell her daughter because she doesn't want her daughter to think that we can just be away from family because we like another place better, even though this is what most of us have done, right? This is what most of us do, but not in Italy. In Italy, generally people don't do this. They stay around family. Clea is a little bit conflicted because of this, and her daughter is very insistent that she wants to move to Italy. But at the same time, Clea is not telling her and cannot tell her, does not want to tell her that really the grandparents don't have any essences. So it feels weird, really. There's nothing there to go back to. So why did we allow the pandemic if we knew that the takedown was around the corner? Because there were still people supporting it. And so when we say the dark has had the last hooray, so to speak, they were still very much supporting this. A lot of us were not supporting it anymore. That's why it has fizzled out and failed, but there were still many people supporting it. From a 3D perspective, they knew something was coming as well. Of course, at our self level, we all knew. And so they were pushing, they were trying to survive. They were trying to get us in a controllable situation. First of all, depopulate the earth so that the few of us left were going to be easily controlled and enslaved because they are afraid. They're very much afraid. At higher self level, they knew what was going to happen. And they also knew the takedown timeline, basically deadline, was getting closer. And they also knew that there would be a lot of work that they would have to do. They would have to deal with a lot of things. So have we robbed ourselves? Have we lost in a way time that we could have used in more pleasant ways? Of course. Every time we've done low vibrational things here, like wars, for example, we've missed opportunities to be happy. Of course, 100%. Lorraine, okay, JBD Sweet asks, how did my school loans get erased? I know this doesn't happen to a lot of people, but my loan is gone and the credit websites show them being closed and my credit score reflects the same. Me. Yeah, it's a glitch. It's a glitch in the matrix. Lorraine, what a nice glitch. Me. Exactly. Like people who have had their mortgages erased. Now, there are people that have been at the other end of it. We've talked about Bank of America where people had money taken out of their accounts. These are all glitches. We already said these corporations, the people that are working there don't have SSS. And so who's intending for these corporations to work right? And we will create the outer shell that includes these corporations because we don't want the world to change on the surface. We're not there thinking, oh, but let's make sure all the accounting is done right. We just want the overall appearance to be normal, but we're not there intending every little detail to go a certain way. We don't care. If it were for us, I mean, if we didn't care about the consequences, we would do away with all banks and all credit and all money and all of that, right? We don't want that because we don't want to have to spring into action and say, oh crap, now we got to create a new civilization, a new society. But short of that, beyond that, we're like, we don't care, whatever. In fact, happy news. Let's delete more of this. Let's have more glitches where people all of a sudden have no more debt. Clea's still waiting for her credit card debt to disappear, but not yet. And they were laughing. It would be nice, I have to say. Lorraine, I'm right there with her. Okay. Why are birds stalling mid-flight in the air? Is this the matrix glitching or the NPC birds forgetting what they're supposed to do and how reality is supposed to work? Me. Yeah, so these birds are NPCs, so they don't, again, they just go along, right? So they're not intending, I want my reality to look this way. And so, yeah, they're glitching, but the matrix has always been glitching. We've said this many times, we just didn't want to see it. So the question is, why is this now coming up? Because now we want to see it. Now we see it. Now we're not so keen on being like, no, everything is perfect. This is how reality works. And they were laughing. We know reality doesn't work any particular way. Reality works the way we want it to work, and that's it. But yes, these birds are NPCs. Lorraine, thank you. This is Claire relaying something from the Telegram group. David showed a video in the TG group of water acting abnormally. It was jumping up as if it was boiling and forming peaks that looked like small mountains. What is this about? Is Mother Earth doing this? And the 25th interjected here or no. Is it the matrix breaking down or simply another engineered event? And the 25th again said, yeah. If the latter, who's still engineering these things from a 3D perspective and why? Me. So Claire specifying from a 3D perspective, because of course we are engineering this, right? We're engineering for us to see all these glitches happening, and either actively because we want to see the matrix glitch, so we know we're creating things, or by default because we just don't care enough to maintain everything the way it was before. We're still the ones causing these glitches. So in this case, yeah, I mean, there was frequency that was being used. There were still people experimenting with things, NPCs experimenting. Again, they're doing the same things they were doing, right? Trying to mess up stuff. But so in that case, yes, it was man-made. Mother Earth is not doing this because again, Mother Earth is going to New Earth with us. And just like us, is trying to keep everything stable. We are trying to keep everything stable. At the same time, it was glitching in the sense that it was not going the way that they wanted it to go. It was not supposed to be so obvious that this was happening because the dark has never had any interest in making us believe that reality works differently from what normal 3D reality would work like. In fact, if anything, they want to hide the things that they do so that we have this idea that reality only works a certain way. For example, a lot of people don't believe, and I can't really say this word, but I'll say chem, and then the rest of the word is trails, are real. You know, they just want everything to be very black and white in their reality, or wanted, obviously. There's nobody else here left anymore. But yeah, so it was both things. So it was energy, it was sound, it was frequencies, what we're trying to say that was being used. But it still didn't go the way that they wanted it to go because again, things just don't, it's not 2 + 2 = 4 anymore. It just doesn't work that way. Stuff glitches all the time. So it didn't go as planned. That's not the effect that we're looking for. Lorrayne, thank you. Okay, we know that politicians are usually in the middle, if not outright on the side of the dark from the very beginning. But it seems that Gaddafi was good, quote unquote, good to his people and did not go along with many of the agendas of the dark. He paid for everything for his country's citizens, from education to healthcare, and nobody was homeless. Is this why the dark took him out? Me. We already said that just because you're on the team of the dark, you don't have to be completely dark. It's not one block of people, so you don't have to be of one mind. And so you can do really anything you want. Now, Gaddafi was on the team of the dark, but he was different. I mean, there's a reason why he was in power, okay? He was not a saint by our judgment of what a saint would be. We already said a lot of saints. I mean, look at Mother Teresa. I think she's Saint Teresa now, and they were laughing. You know, a lot of saints are not what we think they are. So in that sense, when Claire says good, in quotes, we think it's, again, in a moral way, like you're on the team of the light. Gaddafi was not on the team of the light. We already said that people on the team of the light are not necessarily going to be in those kinds of positions. You wouldn't even make it into that position. But so, yeah, he was different, and he was much better than a lot of other politicians. He's done much better by his people. Basically, the story, because again, the story is made up, history is made up. The story we've been told is this picture, almost like a caricature, because this is what we do, right? We want to attack a country and we create a caricature about the people, the regime, the reality on the ground, the politicians in charge, and whatever. It's just a cartoon. You know, it has nothing to do with reality. Reality could be completely different. We really don't know. We're definitely not going to hear it in the news. And then based on that, we support whatever idea somebody's coming up with. Again, a lot of the ideas have been, let's go and bomb them, because we've done these things over and over again. We supported them over and over again. Clearly, we don't do that anymore. We don't support this idea anymore. And so, yeah, and so that's all there is to it. It doesn't mean that Gaddafi was all good, you know, the way that we judge good here. He was not all bad just because he was on the team of the dark. We already said people on the team of the dark are just like us. They choose different things that they want to do. And he wanted to do certain things for his people. So he's very different from how we've been taught to think of him. And in fact, we even said Hitler was very different from how we've been taught to think of him. And things were very different than what we've been taught to believe in terms of history. For example, with Nazi Germany and so on. Even at 3D level, we know history is written by the victors. And even, for example, the history of Germany, of Nazi Germany, has been changed many times since it happened, even in history books. In fact, if you compare history books written right after it happened compared to history books written now, they're completely different stories. And so, yeah, this is just how we make up stuff, right? We just make up stories all the time. So Gaddafi was not just negative. Lorrayne, nothing that we think we know is real. Me, exactly. Not even at 3D level. Everybody can have the idea that they want, and that's their idea, and that's the truth for them. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.